Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, and our most welcome guests. A very warm welcome to the 18th meeting of the Champion Evaluators Advanced Toastmasters Club. It's always energizing to come together and create a space where ideas are shared, perspectives are challenged, and learning happens in every interaction. As we begin today, I'm reminded of the words of Seth Godin, who said, people do not buy goods and services, they buy relations, stories, and magic. And in many ways, that is what we practice here. Not just speaking, but connecting, not just evaluating, but helping each other discover that magic in communication. This evening gives us an opportunity to listen, reflect, and learn together through a speech and the insight that follows. Before we begin, just a few gentle reminders. Please keep your phones on silent and microphones muted when not speaking. And if possible, keep your video on so we can stay connected and engaged. With that, let us look forward to a meaningful session. To take us forward, may I invite our club president, DTM Jyotika Shetty, who brings clarity and direction to our meeting and ensures everything comes together seamlessly. Over to you, Madam President.
Thank you very much, distinguished Toastmaster Savita. Let's give her a huge round of applause. A warm welcome to the 18th meeting of Champion Evaluators. I'm not in the best of health, so I may not be able to speak a lot. But warm welcome again to this meeting. It's always a pleasure to meet all of you again. A special good evening to our speaker and our guest today, Snigdha Kumari from District 120. Warm welcome, Snigdha.
Thank you so much.
Well, I was just thinking that it's been 10 months, 10 months since we started this club. We started in the last month of last year, and there's so much that we learned in the past 10 months. Please raise your hand if you have learned one extra thing in Champion Evaluators than what you had known before that. I mean, that's a beautiful thing, right? And we just have another 2 months to go to close this year. Let's just take a moment. I mean, even after this meeting, see what exactly have you consciously learned in the last 10 months. I, for one, I can definitely say with the kind of travel I did, I definitely learned to to travel in the Indian Railways. Uh, it's not a matter of laugh. I mean, I'm laughing it out now, but to be honest, it's something that I was never used to. I didn't know how to do it. But the very fact that I was able to do it makes me like a winner, makes me feel so good about it. And there are so many things in life that we can do that we are not doing. We are so scared to do. And there's nothing that there is to be scared of. All we have to do is just start off and do it. If a person like me who hardly knew how to travel in India can travel, I'm sure all of you can do so much more in a year. Another 2 months to go to close this year, and we've already done so much. I really want you all to gather all the courage. If you have not done panel discussions, please come forward, be a panelist. If you've not been a moderator, please be a moderator. If you've not been an evaluator, please be an evaluator. That's why this club is all about. That's what this club is all about. Doing something different and making ourselves as champions. Champions doesn't necessarily mean on the stage, but champion means champion to ourselves. With that being said, there are two announcements that I want to make. First of all, it's the end of the year. Elections are around the corner, and I'd like to announce it officially today that 27th April 2026, I'm making the announcement that we will be having our club elections on 8th of June. Well, we can have it on the 25th, but that doesn't give enough because 4 weeks is the minimum that I will have to announce. So we'll have the elections during the second. Sorry, we are the second and the fourth. No, Daryl. So we will make it on the 15th of June. Unless you are okay to make it on the 25th of May. That really doesn't matter, but I think we can make it on the 15th of June.
8th of June is our second meeting.
8th of June. Okay, 8th of June, we will have our elections where we will elect a new set of leaders for the next year. all the 7 positions will be open. So please send in your applications. Now we do not have a past precedent to take the lead, so you can send the I'll put the details in the WhatsApp group. So then accordingly you can send in your applications. But I would really want you all to please come forward and support the club, as we need leaders to take this club forward. That is one thing. The second thing is that we've been trying to increase the membership of the club as well. Now, this club can be a very advanced club for some of them. We have a restriction as far as accepting new members is concerned, because we want to also keep the level, the quality of the club. But there's one thing that we can probably consider is to allow former members, former Toastmasters members into the club, so that will also open up possibilities to have more members within the club, as we are already accepting dual members. As you know, dual membership also can be a little heavy on people. So this is one of the ways to help people to be a part of the club. So I would like to now put this proposal across to you. We've already had this discussion at the ExCom level. I would like to now put the proposal in front of all of you. We have enough. We're 18 members as of today. So we need a quorum of 10, and we're more than 10 over here. So we can have this business meeting discussion. Therefore, I would like to hear from you, your opinion, if you are okay, to open the club to former Toastmasters who are not Toastmasters now, but would like to join Toastmasters, and Champion Evaluators would be one of the clubs where that they can consider. So is there anyone here who would has any feedback or any objection for this, or can we go for a voting if there is no objection? If you all have any concerns, please feel free to say that. There's absolutely no issue. No issue.
Right?
Yes, please, Kiran.
It's not an objection or something, but I'm really worried about that new member getting scared, because the standards here are pretty high for a Toastmaster, for a new Toastmaster who is a rookie or a tenderfoot. I don't think it will be appropriate. I won't mind if somebody joins it, like learn the hard way. Okay, fine. But think of that person. I think it's going to be scary. He may not continue in Toastmasters. See, somebody joins should be here for a long time. Enjoy,
so we're looking at former members. They have to be Toastmasters members in the past.
Yes, that's what
not someone who has never been a Toastmaster. Exactly. That will be a little intimidating.
My apprehension, that's all. I'm open to it, but I'm apprehension.
So for someone who's been a Toastmaster, they understand how the evaluations take place.
Correct.
So I think for them, it should be okay, is what we think. What do you all think about this proposal? Our existing members are also quite scared, that we haven't been able to renew 25 out of 25 members for whatever reasons, but we want to increase this number and maintain it at least at 20. Our existing members are all pretty much active now. They're all members who want to learn and grow. But this is one of the ways in which we can, because there have been people who've been asking whether we can join the club. But the thing is, we were not able to do that because they were not members, but they were former members in the past. They were members.
Yeah, I cannot think of anyone who's been a Toastmaster in the past wanting to just join a session where there's basically advancing evaluation. But once they become members here, they automatically then have the chance to join competitions and join everything else. So, I mean, here itself, if the previous Toastmasters come, I mean, they will have a number. So it will not be as if they were they will not have to pay those $25 as DNO numbers. Once you have a number, membership number, you always have a number. So what happens is when they join this club, they'll be making speeches, they'll be doing evaluations, they'll be panelists, and at the time of competition, they can take part. So there's nothing, it's almost like a full membership. So I mean, I do not see why they would be scared. Only thing is when you're out of circulation for a long time, you have a feeling that you kind of out of touch. But then there's hardly anything to get out of touch in Toastmasters other than not knowing the faces on the camera, because this is basically an online club. So I think people are willing. I'm sure they're
Right.
more than welcome, but those numbers may be few and far between. I think there will be very few who'd really like to join just CEAT.
Right. So,
Only the reason I think they can be attracted to CEAT is because it will not tax their time too much. It will be an online club, and the overhead expenses of a meeting place and toing and froing within the city will be less. I think that
right.
is the advantage. I think that is what should be pointed out to them, that the advantages of being a member here.
All right. So, this proposal, what we are putting forward, is not for those members who have never been Toastmasters. It's not for first-time Toastmasters.
Yes.
It is for those members who already hold a membership with Toastmasters, a membership number, which may not be active right now. So, can I have a show of hands from all the members here if we have an okay to go ahead with this proposal? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9. Radhika? All right, 10. We have 10.
Count yourself. You are 11.
Including me. Including me.
1, 2, 3.
All right. Okay, so
I'll
Divya, please.
I'll do.
Yes,
I'll keep note.
please
Yes.
take a note that
10 members.
yes, the club will now be open for former Toastmasters, not new Toastmasters. And in due course, we will come forward in case if there is any change required. We can always deliberate that.
Yes.
But thank you very much. With that being said, I think it's now time to move on to the main meeting. Now, the main meeting, I don't know, for some reason, I feel it's been ages since we had our last meeting, but it is not. It is now time to move to the crux of the meeting, and the meeting to take this forward, meeting forward. We have with us, I'm so sorry, who's the, Daryl, where is the agenda?
Radhika is our team.
Who? Radhika. All right. You didn't post the agenda in the group?
Yes, I did.
Why am I not seeing it here? All right. To take this meeting forward, we have with us Radhika Adappa. I'd like to now hand over the stage to Radhika. Radhika, over to you. Please take it forward.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, guests and champions of feedback. I'm Radhika Adappa, and it's my privilege to serve as the Toastmaster of the day in today's meeting. Now, as most Toastmasters Club celebrate speeches, we celebrate something even more powerful, the thinking behind the feedback. Because a speech may last a few minutes, but a great evaluation can shape a speaker for a lifetime. At Champions Evaluators, we believe feedback is not criticism, it's guidance and it's reflection. And sometimes it is a spark that unlocks the next level of speaker's journey. Tonight, every word spoken will be heard through two lenses, the lens of the speaker who shares their message and the lens of the evaluators who help refine that message. Because here we don't just listen, we observe, analyze, and we evaluate. I would like to introduce the timer today, DTM Savita Salian, who will help keep the meeting disciplined and on track. DTM Savita will indicate the time using visual cues on Zoom. I request all speakers and evaluators to kindly keep an eye on these signals to respect the time limits. Is it necessary to show the flags? Not necessary, right? Okay. We now move on to the prepared speech session. Our test speaker for today is Toastmaster Snigdha Kumari, who will be delivering a contest speech. Hence, we will not specify the objectives. However, it will be for 5 to 7 minutes. Before we begin, let us do an audiovisual check. TM Snigdha.
Am I audible and visible?
Can Can you repeat after me? I am a champion speaker.
I'm a champion speaker.
There's a lag, isn't there?
Is it for everybody?
Yes, yes, it is.
Yes.
Her movement comes before her voice.
And there's the clarity also. Now there is clarity, visual clarity, I mean.
Is it better?
I'm a champion speaker.
I'm a champion speaker.
Better.
I am a
It's better
champion
now.
speaker.
Can you come a little forward?
Better? I'm a champion speaker.
It's
Maybe
clear,
we
but
can
your
change her device.
yeah.
There is a lag. Yeah, her sound is coming first and then the video is following.
I'm a champion speaker.
I'm a champion speaker.
Now it's okay.
Okay.
Better now.
Would you like to test one more time? I'm a champion speaker.
Okay, we can hear.
Okay.
Toastmasters Snigdha Kumari, the clock that stopped at 11:40. The clock that stopped at 11:40, Toastmasters Snigdha Kumari.
It was December 2021 and I had just returned from my vacation. Tired but happy. I stepped into my bedroom and the first thing that caught my eyes was the wall clock. It was silent, frozen, exactly at 11:40. Dear guest and all the Toastmasters, it was frozen exactly at 11:40. I stepped into my bedroom and the first thing I saw was the wall clock. It was silent, frozen. And then I realized that it was not working. Morning, it was 11:40. Evening, it was 11:40. Next day, I woke up in the morning, I glanced at it, and my heart jumped. It was 11:40. And then I remembered that the clock wasn't working. Little later, again, I glanced at it, and again I realized that the clock wasn't working. And in that silence, I realized something profound. Ever since I started work in Chennai, I used to reach office by 10 a.m. Raise your hand if you have a mother who checks on you every single day. Raise your hand if you have a wife who calls to check on you every single day. Ladies, I'm not going to ask you that question. In my life, there was one person who never missed to check on me, my mother. Every single day, exactly at 11 a.m. She only had two questions. What did you eat today? And what did you bring for lunch? Now imagine a silent office, serious faces, and deadlines everywhere. And me discussing chapati and curry on the phone. It was like giving a live commentary on my lunchbox to my colleagues. But no matter what, I always picked up her call and tried to answer. One day, I was having a meeting with my manager. My phone started ringing. Hello, Mom. What did you eat today? And what did you bring for lunch, baby? It's chapati, Mom. She was loud and clear. Only chapati? You didn't bring curry? How will you eat only chapati? My boss looked at me and I wanted the floor to open and swallow me. I was so embarrassed. It's fine, Mom. I'm in a meeting. I'll call you later. Bye, bye. This routine continued every day until one quiet evening I was vacationing in Pondicherry. Suddenly, I got a call from my neighbor Dheeraj from Ranchi. Snigdha, come home immediately. Your mom is no more, dear. I just spoke to her a while ago. How can this happen to me? How can you go so early, Ma? This is not true. This is not happening. Everything is gone in a second. And that day, I realized that time waits for none. It did not wait for me too. We all get irritated by love when it repeats itself. We call it disturbance. We call it awkward. We reassure ourselves that it will always be there. I can always talk later. Until one day it stops. And that day you can give anything to hear that voice just one more time. Today at 11 a.m., there is a silence. No calls, no questions. But somewhere in my heart, I always wait for that call and those two questions. Just like the clock that stopped at 11:40, her love also stopped. Not because she wanted to, but because life doesn't ask for permission. For a long time, I thought my story has ended here, with a stopped clock and a silent phone. One day, I realized that the clock stopped, but time didn't. Her call stopped, but her love didn't. Her love is in every chapati I eat, every lunchbox I pack, and every time when I ask someone else, "Did you eat?" Today at 11 a.m., I smile. And quietly in my heart, I answer her, "What did you eat today?" "I ate well, Mom." "And what did you bring for lunch, baby?" "I bought chapati, curry, and your love, Mom." My dear lovely souls, somewhere in your life, is there a stop clock too? A missed call you didn't return, a message you ignored, or a hug you were too busy to give? Think of that person whose love feels routine, who always checks, "Did you eat? Did you reach? Why are you so late?" Before the clock stops, before the phone goes silent, pause, answer, and listen. Because one day you may realize that the things that annoyed you the most was the purest form of love you ever had. So cherish it before it's gone. With me, 11 a.m. will always stay. My mother's love and her simple way of saying, "I love you." Over to you, TM.
Thank you, TM Snigdha, for that touching speech. I now call on our timer, DTM Savita, to give us the timing of the speech.
The speaker took 6 minutes 45 seconds. So she qualifies.
Thank you. Our evaluators will now be moved to the breakout room to consolidate their feedback. Well, I think we have about 5 minutes. We can either ask.
So all are shifted to the room? So, okay.
We have about 5 minutes. I think we can ask the speaker to introduce herself. Let us know a little more about her. Toastmaster Snigdha. Is she there?
Sorry, yes, I'm here.
Hi.
Hi.
Can you let us know a little more about yourself?
So now you are aware of my name. My name is Snigdha Kumari, and I am actually from Ranchi, as I already mentioned in my speech. But I'm staying in Chennai as of now. I'm from District 120, and I'm working with Hexaware, so I belong to Hexaware Club, Hexaware Toastmaster Club, and this was from my Toastmaster journey. I have spent just 2 years in Toastmaster. This was the second time I participated in ISC, and this was my speech in the ISC. So I just thought to present it because people reached out to me. I was happy to know that I have that opportunity, and I happily grabbed it. So this was my Toastmaster journey. Apart from that, on my personal front, I'm married and I'm staying in Chennai as of now.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else wants to ask anything?
It's very good to have to give a speech in your mentors club. So I have a mentor here.
Okay. What are you looking forward for in this by giving your speech here?
I actually am looking forward for my evaluation. Actually, because once you give a speech, you think that yeah, it was good. Maybe this was something I missed. But when an evaluator evaluates you, as it was said, we have two eyes. So it was said in the start of the meeting. So that is very important when it comes to speech. But
How
the
did you
flavor
get-
of but the
Yeah.
flavor of Toastmasters is really nice that I have been tasting it since 2 years. Now there is no going back, of course.
So how did you get introduced to the club, to Toastmasters?
Actually, when I joined Hexaware, in the induction only, they start promoting Toastmasters. So from there only I grabbed it. And when I initially joined as a guest, then I was giving just table topics and it was good. So they insisted me to join. And then I joined. And that time only when I participated in ISE, I did at least average. So then I thought to take mentors, thanks to Jyotika ma'am for her mentorship and for my mentors who are from District 120 as well. So yeah, it has been a long way now.
Okay, good luck. Anyone
Thanks.
else want to ask her anything?
Yeah, please.
Snigdha, if you don't mind my asking a personal question,
Yes, sure.
is it based on your real life? Your
Yeah, unfortunately, this is a true story.
Sorry about it. Yeah. Mm.
Okay, now she's always with me as I think so. She is there with me. But yes, this is always painful to lose your parents. No matter
How many members in your club?
we have 25, 26 members.
Okay. You all meet twice a month or every week you will?
Once a week,
Okay.
Thursdays.
And what's your favorite role, like you're most comfortable taking up? Apart from speaking.
Yeah, no, I actually don't speak in club much. That's the truth. I don't get enough time to prepare and then give a speech. So I usually take evaluators role. In fact, evaluators role outside the club also, new clubs, they reach out to us for evaluating because they struggle get the evaluators. So mostly evaluator role, and then tag role I usually don't get to take because there are a lot of people to already take those roles.
Okay.
Snigdha, again a personal question.
Yes, please.
It's yours is a corporate club, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay. I mean, does your organization take your membership or do you take it
No,
individually?
actually it's half. They pay 50% and they reimburse 50%.
Okay.
But most of the clubs don't do this. Corporate clubs doesn't have that facility. But fortunately, Hexaware has that because initially I heard that there were only 5-6 members and they were struggling, so they took some approval. In fact, they are willing to take more approvals now, more like 100%.
Good.
It's past 5 minutes, and I think we need to call the evaluators.
We are now arrive at the defining moment of our club, the evaluation session. A great evaluator listens not just to words, but to intention. They identify what worked, why it worked, and how the speaker can become even stronger. Because when evaluation is done, it becomes a gift. So please help me welcome our first evaluator, Toastmaster Divya D'Souza. Before we begin, let us do a Navy check. I'm a champion evaluator.
I'm a champion evaluator. Can you
I
hear
think
me?
that's clear. Yeah. Okay, the stage is yours.
Thank you. Benjamin Franklin said, when we have lost time, we have lost everything. And what an effective way today our speaker illustrated with her speech. If I started from the beginning and I started looking at just listening to the topic, it intrigued me. The clock that stopped at 11. And it got me to wonder, what would she be talking about? But the strength of a speech comes from the storytelling. And what an effective way you have told a story today. And not just a story that transitioned from something that most of us experience every day. Because I'm very sure that most of us have always had that question, what have you eaten today? What have you bought today? Have you slept well? Have you eaten well? These are the routine questions sometimes our loved one asks us. I sometimes remember how sometimes I check whether my husband in the factory, even though he's living there among food in the catering kitchen, whether he has eaten well. But it also brings to mind how sometimes the way that you portrayed and use content to say that sometimes love comes with those routine questions. So I really love the way that you used your language to connect with the audience, with your story, and the way you used your voice and expressed yourself with your voice. That was really excellent. And in fact, my heart really sank just when you got that news about your mother, and I could feel that heart and that heartache and that pain as well. But if I had to think about a few things to help you to elevate that speech to better, you had a lovely stage around here. And although you did use part of the stage to one part, maybe if you use the stage probably like from one point to the second point and to the third point to talk about the different times. For example, when we're talking about the story in the beginning and how you would speak to your mother, you would have probably used this part. And then you would have used a drama while you were talking about your mother and sharing that very heart-wrenching moment here. And then maybe gone to this part just to share and end with that message. So this was the first thing that I think would help you to elevate your speech. The second is there were those moments that you lost, you kind of forgot your speech. And these things happen. And I love the way that you came back from it. But I think with a little bit of practice, it will enable you to have a beautiful transition so that you don't lose the impact. And the third, I felt that even though we are in an online forum, sometimes the way that we engage people is also important by the way we look and speak to people, looking into the camera sometimes. It's important to do that. And maybe bend sometimes a little bit and use your body in a different way. So all in all, if I have to put this up, beautiful speech with a story that has woved us and engaged us, and using your voice effectively with your gestures, but using the stage effectively, probably from right to left, in a way that you use your one step to the other to transition, and a little more body language to involve and engage the crowd. I think you will be a runner because time and tide waits for no one. And I think you have captured the essence of talking about the clock. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Divya, for that thoughtful and insightful evaluation. We now have, please help me welcome the second evaluator, DTM CK Ballal. DTM CK Ballal, let us do an AV check.
But yeah, okay, give me a minute. Yes. Yeah. What do you want me to say?
I'm a champion evaluator.
I'm a champion evaluator.
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah. The stage is yours.
Good evening, my champion evaluators and panelists and guests at this advanced champion evaluators club. It was a great experience for me to evaluate a young bee, a new bee at Toastmasters, and somebody that I've not seen before. I must empathize with you, my dear speaker, that I've had a similar experience at home when my clock has stopped, usually due to the battery going off. And I've felt irritated and sometimes, like you, delayed putting it right. I also empathize with you when you mentioned about the emotional aspect, the emotional part when you had that telephone call from your mother, when she asked you, what have you taken for tiffin? Have you taken curry with you? Which many mothers do. And at the same time, you said people don't check on their husbands, but they do check on their children. So that was something that I could gel with when you said that. The experience that you narrated of feeling that the ground would sink in front of you, feeling frustrated when your mother rings, when you're in the middle of an important work in the office. So these were the three important aspects and catchy aspects in your speech. The opening, the very catchy opening with the clock. The second, with the irritating telephone call that you found irritating from your mother. And the third, about the experience that you narrated, that you wait for that call and it is not to come now. Now, where is it that you could take this speech to a higher level and a better narration? I found that there was a discrepancy between the body language and the narration and the voice modulation. To take this speech to a higher level, you could show your frustration by doing something. Oh God, a telephone call again from your mom? And the second time, when you said, oh no, I just spoke to her. She's no more. I can't believe it. You said that rather loudly. You could have made it more somber by saying, I can't believe it. So there could have been a bit of voice modulation there. And the third part where I feel you could have taken the speech to a higher level is that you repeated yourself twice in the beginning when you told about the clock. And perhaps that to some extent conveyed the impression that you had not rehearsed the speech properly. To summarize this speech, I would congratulate you on selecting an excellent topic about the stop clock. But the point that you said your mother passed away at 11 and the clock stopped at 11:40, you could have had the two together and made it 11:40. So we had already registered it as 11:40. You are an excellent storyteller. I congratulate you on that. A little bit of practice with voice modulation and gestures will take this speech to a higher level. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. C.K. Ballal, for that insightful and valuable evaluation. We now welcome our third evaluator, Toastmaster Kalika Nidodi. Toastmaster Kalika, let's do an AV check. Please repeat after me. I am a champion evaluator.
I am a champion evaluator.
Yeah, it's clear. The stage is yours.
Toastmaster Snigdha, what an eye-opening story. When you started your story and said that the clock stopped at 11:40, it kept me wondering, where exactly are you going with your story? The best part about your entire speech was that you kept me wondering till the very end. And that grabbed my attention. And I'm pretty sure that grabbed everyone's attention throughout your entire speech. Congratulations on giving your contest speech. And I have a lot of I have so many things to say about your entire speech. It kept me hooked the entire time, and it was truly very hard for me to come up with any negatives or anything that you could improve. Let me start off by giving the positives. Your story was a very personal story and a very emotional story. It was very heart touching. Stories like this, from a contest perspective, do very, very well with the audience and with the judges. It left us all with a message, left us all thinking about your speech and what we could do and how we could implement it in our own lives. Considering that this was an online setting, I appreciate the fact that you used your entire screen. At one point you were here, at one point you were here, you were also here. You used the entire screen. Your hand gestures were very open. Open hand gestures suggest good confidence, and you were definitely a very confident speaker. You started your speech by saying that the clock was stuck at 11:40. And by the end of the speech, we realized what it actually meant. You created this full circle moment, and as I said, it kept us all hooked till the very end, kept us all wondering till the very end where you're going to go with this speech. Now, here is one thing that I would like to suggest you, a few things that I would like to suggest you. In your speech, at some point, I feel like your tone and your emotion did not match very well. Let me give you an example. At one point, you said, I wanted the floor to swallow me. Here, you sounded a little more angry than embarrassed. I feel like instead of saying it like that, you could have said it like, I wanted to fall into a hole and I wanted the floor to swallow me. Something like that. Another suggestion that I would like to give you is, again, from a contest perspective, the initial part of your speech lacked a little bit of practice, or maybe you were nervous, but I feel like you repeated the same point again and again. I think you know what I'm talking about. You talked about the same clock. I feel like you talked about the same clock a little too many times. And to summarize, your speech was very emotional. It touched all our hearts. It was crystal clear. You had great hand gestures, and I loved your hook and your full circle moment of the speech. To improve, to make the speech even better, I feel like you could practice the opening a little more. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Kanika, for that valuable feedback. We will now vote for the best evaluators.
The timing, I'll give the timing report.
Yeah.
Divya took 3 minutes 35 seconds. Dr. C.K. Ballal took 3 minutes 28 seconds. Kalika took 3 minutes 11 seconds. So for voting, it's only DTM C.K. Ballal and Toastmaster Kalika. They qualify.
Where is the link put up?
It's the chat, Doctor.
We arrive at the signature feature of our club, the panel evaluation session. Most Toastmasters meetings end with a single evaluation, but here we go one step further. We believe feedback becomes richer when multiple perspectives come together because each evaluator noticed something different. To guide this discussion, we have someone who exemplifies evaluation excellence. Please join me in welcoming our panel moderator, DTM Srivastava, GN, and our two panelists, quadruple DTM Malini Hebbar and DTM Daryl Rodrigues. DTM Srivatsa, the stage is yours.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
please unmute yourself and please mention good evening or hi, anything, because
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
that's amazing.
Bye.
That's amazing because we have been hearing T-Mod and speaker and evaluators till now. I need everyone to be energized over here. Thank you so much. I have my panelists with me, distinguished Toastmasters, both Malini Hebbar and Daryl Rodriguez. Without any further ado, I would like to jump in for the panel moderation. Before that, let me provide a timing guidelines for the panel moderation. We'll be heading in four sections. One is for the speaker and three for the evaluators. For speaker, it will be 2 minutes. So 2 minutes, you can flash me the red card. And for the panel, sorry, for the evaluators, we'll try to keep it at 3 to 4 minutes. You can flash green at 3 and red at 4. If anything gets extended, we'll further extend the panel moderation a bit basis the questions. My first question is with respect to the speaker. Any one of you in the panel can go ahead with answering this particular question. Was the structure of the speech well organized? Any one of you can go ahead.
I would say yes.
Okay.
Yes, it was well structured.
Structure of the evaluator's delivery.
No. He's asking us about the speaker now.
I'm going with the speaker initially and then coming back to the evaluators in the
Okay,
next.
okay, right.
So she began with references to the clock that had stopped at 11:40, and that acted as a metaphor. And she brought it to a closure by referring to that again at the end. So whenever the circle is complete, we can take it as a well-structured speech. There isn't any loose end that is hanging there. So I found it well-structured.
Okay, thank you so much. And the next one is, what is that one suggestion you would like to give to the speaker so that the speaker can enhance the speech to the next level? Only one particular suggestion from your end.
Okay, two evaluators have already referred to it. That is the discrepancy between the emotion and the voice that projected that emotion. Two evaluators have correctly pointed this out. That would be my suggestion to the speaker as well, because in this particular speech, the emotion had a large role to play. So if you see any discrepancy between the emotion and the voice that emoted, that would be probably a major failure in the delivery part of the speech.
Okay, what about you, Daryl?
Yeah, to add on to that, Srivatsa, what I feel is there are some things you'd like to remember about a speech. And I would like to have remembered a few things if probably the speaker had paused. Because you want that emotion to sink in, especially when she said, hear that voice just one more time. And then there was a triad which she said, we have to pause, answer, and listen. So if she had paused and let the emotion sink in, I think it would have taken the speech to another level. That would be my additional recommendation.
Okay, thank you so much. With this, we conclude with the speaker's part of questions that the speaker had completely took in with the structure, and the structure of the speech was well connected. And then the two main recommendations provided by our panelists has been considered. So now let's move on to Toastmaster Divya D'Souza. So Toastmasters Divya D'Souza, related to her evaluation. The first question, let me go with the basic one. Was the opening good to go with Divya's speech evaluation, Malini Hebbar?
Okay, see, when it comes to an evaluation, there is always a question about whether you should be prepared. If you are prepared, how much of preparation should go into an evaluation? Should it be purely spontaneous? Things like that. We have those questions. I always feel that if you're prepared, but if you can give the probably the facade, if I can use the word, of being spontaneous. That's the best thing that you can achieve. Now, Divya had the quotation from Benjamin Franklin. I don't know whether she had actually come prepared or whether it was spontaneous. Even if she had come prepared, she didn't make it seem very evident. So that's the best thing about an opening. You are probably prepared, but you seem to be spontaneous. And a reference to somebody, a quote that goes, that gels with the topic, is always something very nice that you can. Probably she did it marvelously well, I must say, that part of her evaluation.
Considered. Thank you so much. Daryl, she mentioned the recommendation points, that is on the story, voice, and gestures. Were they in sync, or I would like to come to this particular part. Let's leave story, voice apart, and she mentioned on the gestures related aspects when she tried to summarize the opening, the commendations. So was the gestures point correctly notified or given proper details for that?
Okay, so I didn't hear gestures actually. I heard storytelling, language, and voice.
Voice.
That's what I had written. I didn't
Mm.
hear gestures, so I don't know.
Correct. Those were the 3 points that she
Okay, in her
mentioned.
summary, she mentioned
Storytelling,
gestures.
Yeah.
language, and voice. But then what Srivatsa is trying to ask us probably is that Divya demonstrated one particular bit, right? She said, when you take over as one person, you could be here, you could be here. Probably Srivatsa is.
No, that was a
Yeah.
characterization part which she mentioned in the
But
recommendation.
Daryl is
But when she provided the summary in the recommendation part, the third one was mentioned as gesture.
Yeah, because that's what she said in her recommendation also. Recommendation or commendation, Srivatsa?
So commendation, when she started
I didn't
summarizing her
hear.
whole evaluation, the gesture point was put up. So that's why
I
if you
didn't
could,
hear it,
yeah.
so I
That's fine.
can't
Let
come
me.
add it.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Let's go with the next point. So story and voice we have. Were those two brought up well, or were those 2 points were apt for the evaluation? Is just for I was just wanted to ask, or if there is any other point which she could have brought in her commendation, what would that be, Daryl?
Okay, so for storytelling, I think it was presented well. Just that when she gave those examples of how it related to her, if she could say it related, right? That's what stood out, along with the storytelling aspect, or elaborate on how the storytelling aspect stood out. Even voice, I wouldn't fully agree, but since she mentioned it, if that example had substantiated, she said heartache, but how did the speaker demonstrate the voice for you to feel the heartache? If you had substantiate, maybe we could have, as a listener or as a panelist here, I would have agreed. Again, language also, she mentioned just one statement which says love comes from these routine questions that I didn't feel language stood out. So again, how did language stand out and how was it a commendation for you? So storytelling was okay, presented well, but the other two I felt lacked.
Okay. Got it, Daryl. Thank you. Malini ma'am, now let's come for the recommendation part. What Divya provided, she mentioned on the characterization and body language. And did she demonstrate a proper examples for the same so that the speaker can correct it?
The thing is that Divya did what most of the evaluators do. They give a suggestion of this kind so that characterization stands out in a vivid manner. So she did that. But what I felt was before doing that, she could have probably pointed out the strength of the speaker because the speaker took the trouble of showing whenever she had the receiving, she was at the receiving end, she had her left hand up, and whenever it was her own voice, she had a right, and she did it consistently. Even when the other person conveyed the news of the death of the mother, the speaker was very consistent, left and right. She didn't get mixed up at all. So she could have probably pointed that out. And one thing I put down, although it is extraneous to what you have asked me, Srivatsa, Divya numbered the recommendations that she had to make, 3 recommendations. So likewise, now if you follow that pattern, Flexon used to do that. right at the beginning. And one of the evaluators did it, Dr. DTM CK or Kalik, I don't know. I have, these many recommendations, these many recommendations. If you give that number out, it becomes clear cut. She had the number for the recommendation, but not the number for the commendation. So if you're going to use the number for the recommendation, use it for your commendation, whatever it is. I don't mean to say it should match, it should be equal. You needn't have it as 3 and 3, but whatever it is, it could be 2, it could be 3, but point it out right at the beginning. That is my recommendation for Divya. And one more recommendation for Divya, to avoid the phrase all in all. Okay. So that's a very common phrase that evaluators use. In its entirety, in its wholeness, in its completeness, in its fullness, anything is better than, for me, all in all. Okay.
Got it. Daryl, any recommendation that you would love to give to Toastmaster Divya for her evaluation?
Right. So even if Divya had scored high on my ballot, she would be disqualified. And that's the first thing that I think we as evaluators need to keep in mind. Right. I think that third recommendation did not add that much value. And especially since you can see the timer displaying cards, I think you could have moved directly into your summary. And that last, you concluded your evaluation well, Divya, when you spoke about time and tide, right? You started with a quote and brought it back at the end. So that lost its value if you get disqualified. So I think the third recommendation could have been avoided because I didn't find it that helpful for a speaker, right? So yeah, that would be my recommendation to Divya.
So last question. Okay, Daryl, thank you. So last question for Divya's evaluation is that as we all see, right, we are in front of the in this one online Zoom meeting and in front of screens. Did the position of camera matter to both of you?
In Divya's case?
Yes.
No, I felt she had placed herself pretty well. I didn't find her presence disturbing in any way. And also, she did not carry a sheet of paper with her. She just spoke, and she had words like intrigued and all that. Very difficult in an evaluation to come up with such impressive words. So I have all those positives for Divya. Her screen space did not trouble me in any way.
Got it.
Yeah.
How about you, Daryl?
Likewise, because I think that's also not there on the evaluation ballot, right? Delivery is not
Yeah, this was
there
just
on
an
the ballot. Yeah,
yeah,
so I
this was
wouldn't
just an out
consider
of the box
that.
question. If
Yeah,
it was
so I would-
contest kind of setup, will that really matter?
Yes, but since our contest stages are more in person than online, I wouldn't consider it.
Okay. Thank you so much for panelists for the Divya's evaluation. Now let's move on to Distinguished Toastmaster CK Balal's evaluation. Let me start with Daryl now. So Daryl, how was Dr. CK Balal's opening for the evaluation speech?
Right. As much as we don't like to compare, obviously, when we hear one evaluator before and another one after that, we tend to compare, right? And that happens in a contest. So Dr. Balal just started by wishing all of us and saying it was a great experience. Probably if he had started with a nice quote, I think I would have liked that better. That would have just added that much more flavor or value to that evaluation. Because he spoke a lot about empathizing with the speaker, right, in the commendation. So even if he had started on that note, I think it would have started the evaluation on a high for me.
Okay. Malini ma'am, were the commendations provided by the evaluator in sync?
But can I just say one word?
Yeah, sure, sure.
As a response to your previous question also?
Sure. Please go ahead.
I just want to say, because for a change, I found Distinguished Toastmaster CK Ballal a little unsure of himself at the beginning. And I feel that the beginning matters a lot if you were to be actually contesting in an evaluation contest. Something troubled him, I felt. Maybe his own recollections of his association with this mom, or the point, of losing her, or whatever. He seemed to be a little hesitant there, to the extent of making, tense error also, which is very, very rare for distinguished Toastmaster C.K. Ballal. Now, commendation, I'm fully with him because you see, he took the risk of showing as to how
Yeah.
she could have brought in the vocal variety, and he did it very well.
Mm.
DTM C.K. Ballal, I remember taking an educational session at Mila Grace, and I had given a suggestion, and you wanted me to show that to the audience, and I showed it to the audience, and I looked at you. You looked very skeptical, and I asked you, "Did I do it well?" You said, "Not really." Now, it's true. If we try out something and if we don't do it to the extent that is possible with excellence, then we fail. So it's a great risk to take when you show it out. But you showed that huskiness in your voice, and you did it very well as to how she should have brought in that voice modulation. For me, if at all there was a thing that can be called a failure in Snigdha's speech, that was where the message of her mother's death was conveyed to her by one of her friends. Now, that voice had absolutely no hesitation in conveying the message. Now, nobody would convey the message of the demise of a friend's mom with that kind of voice. So she did not have that. And her own quivering, yes, she went emotional, yes, all that, but then there was a discrepancy in matching the emotion with the voice, and that was pointed out by Dr. DTMCK as the recommendation, and I'm fully with him in that.
Okay, thank you so much. Daryl, how about the examples provided by Dr. Ballal with respect to the recommendations what he brought out? Did you feel was that apt or something else would have been needed? What do you feel?
So I really like the first recommendation that Dr. Ballal mentioned with regard to the the voice modulation, body language, and narrative, and I like the way he explained it as well. I've written agree here, so I think that's something commendable, Dr. Ballal. The second one where he mentioned not rehearsed properly, which I'm sure, which I think all like the three evaluators mentioned. But what I would have liked Dr. Ballal to do is say how she could have, uh, practice is the obvious answer. So tell her that she should practice, or any other way, tell her how she can improve with that particular aspect. That is something. And I also like the aspect that Dr. Ballal spoke about 11:40, but always she kept referring to 11 o'clock. So that's something. So I think recommendations were spot on for me, except for, detailing the second one. Otherwise, I think they were really good.
Got it. I just have one question to both of you. Anyone can take it up. When I was listening to Dr. C.K. Ballal's evaluation, I found the recommendation was told. Again, the recommendations were done as a summary. Then he went to the, commendation was done. Commendation was put up as a summary. And then he went to recommendation. Then again, whole commendation plus recommendation came in. Do you have any thoughts on this particular aspect which was brought up?
Yes, I have put it down as well. I don't know about what you
Mhm.
have said, but I have put down this point. That is, he brought in a new point in his summary, doctor. That reference to 11.40. You
Yeah.
brought in a new point, which was not actually a part of your evaluation earlier. So, summary, you needn't really bring in a new point that you have not already mentioned. So, that happened in your summary. So that was for me a problematic part of the evaluation.
Thank you. How about you, Daryl?
I agree with what DT Malini has said. Yeah, nothing to
Okay.
add.
Thank you so much. With this, we'll conclude with Dr. C.K. Ballal's evaluation part. And now let's move on to Toastmaster Kalika's evaluation. Uh, Let me go with the first basic question of ours. How was the opening? Malini, ma'am.
Okay. I liked Kallika's opening because you see, an evaluator should make it crystal clear as to what he or she is doing. So she made it very clear. Let me begin with the positives. Everybody knows that we follow the sandwich method. We begin with the positives and then we move on to the recommendation, and then again we come back to commendation and all that. But even then, when the evaluator himself or herself makes it very clear, there is no, what you say, mixing up of what the evaluator intends to do. So making one's intentions clear is welcome. And that's what Kalika did right at the beginning.
Okay. Daryl, do you want
Yeah,
to speak anything about the opening part? Yeah.
right. So I would say even Kalika's opening was okay. I mean, she mentioned it's an eye-opening speech that Snigdha delivered, which is, I think, an okay adjective, fairly okay adjective to use there. However, like when she said she has a lot of things she wants to say and not many negatives, that's something I'm not very inclined to say as an evaluator right in the beginning. As an evaluator, your role is to mention highlights and recommendations, right? Irrespective of whether the speaker is good, um, has been on multiple platforms. So I think that could have been avoided, uh, because then I find I don't find the evaluator actually giving that much of value, intended value, right? So yeah.
Got it. Got it.
Correct. I
So,
had
coming.
forgotten that. Daryl is right in that suggestion given to Kalika. I had forgotten that particular part of it.
Got it. So now coming to the commendation part, I felt commendations were more than the recommendations. So the commendations provided, I think there were 3 to 4 points fairly. Out of which, did you feel all those were necessary, or did you feel some were interconnected and repeated again? Or is there any correction that the evaluator can make it in the commendation part, Malini ma'am?
In the commendation, I think she focused on the emotional aspect of the storytelling of Snigdha, the message that Snigdha had, and how she covered the entire stage. And she also came up with references to open hand gestures. That's what
Correct.
Kalika had by way of commendation, which I felt those four references were fine with me. I have a suggestion later on for her recommendation, but commendation, I didn't feel that she overdid. But as Daryl rightly pointed out, she needn't have said that she had fewer recommendations to make or negatives to point out than the positives. That needn't have been said. But while summing up the positives, I felt she was fine in each of the points that she mentioned.
Got it. Got it. Daryl, what about you with respect to the recommendations? What can be done better?
Recommendations or commendations?
Recommendation.
Recommendations, all right. I felt she gave 2 recommendations and I think they were put forward okay. I mean, I would consider that as recommendations that would help the speaker, be it the tone and the emotions or the practice, right? But I like to mention about her commendations, which I felt lacked a little bit of depth. And I'll tell you why. She spoke about personal emotional story, but there was this one statement she said stories do well with judges and for people at a contest. So I felt that statement. Now I don't know whether you're considering it because it's a contest speech, but I think when we do evaluations, we let's just assume that we're giving an evaluation to a speaker. When she said about and use the entire screen here, here, and here, if she had given us more examples to understand how the screen was being used or the stage was being used, open hand gestures, what was the speaker trying to tell us, right? And how the gestures accentuated what the speaker said. So I felt
Correct.
those commendations had lacked a little bit of lacked depth, right? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Malini ma'am, I was coming to you because you had already mentioned you have something to tell.
No,
So
I
it's
don't
good.
have that objection to
Huh, huh.
Kalika about stories doing well with judges and listeners, because today it was announced that it was a contest speech and the speaker was here for an improvement. So how the story is emotionally appealing to everyone, that was the point that she was trying to make. Be it the judges, be it the audience, stories will have that emotional appeal. Maybe she could have worded it in a
Yes.
more profound manner, saying
Yeah.
that even if you have to forget judges, everyone listens to a story. So everyone's ears get pricked when it is a story. So that kind of suggestion she could have given, probably making it, as you said, sound more profound than this. But for the suggestion itself, I have no objection. But
Yeah.
here, Daryl said that's how we compare. So when he came to, so now I compare Kallika's suggestion with DTM CK's suggestion. That is, Kallika also tried that method of trying to show how Snigdha could have done it better. So exhibiting what you orally say, verbally say, you are exhibiting it physically. But I felt, Kallika, you didn't do it to the extent that, to the extent of excellence. In the sense, you faltered. So you were not actually being helpful to the speaker by trying to demonstrate how the speaker. So unless you are 100% sure that your demonstration is going to be better than what the speaker did, don't attempt it. Because it's not going to be of any use to the speaker in the present context of trying to be helpful to the speaker. And if you are a contestant, you will lose marks. When you try to come up with a demonstration of that kind and don't do it well, you will end up getting lower marks. So don't try that unless you are very sure that you can carry it off well.
Got it. Thank you. Any last comments you have for Kallika? Yeah, the time is now. We can share it. Post that, I will go with last one question for all the evaluators in total. If you have any last comments for Kallika, you can
Yes,
go ahead.
Kallika actually had a good recommendation. One more recommendation that she gave to the speaker was about practicing the opening a little better. That was her recommendation, which was very true in the framework of Snigdha's speech. Because you see, if you falter at the beginning, your own self-confidence comes down. So the rest of the speech may not be as effective as you intended it to be when the beginning goes a little flat. So Kallika's suggestion for a better, stronger opening was a valid suggestion.
Got it. Daryl, do you have any other last comments?
So I think Kallika summarized it well, summarized her evaluation well, but I found it very abrupt. So she just finished and stopped. So could she have thought of a way to leave the speaker on a high? So she spoke about eye-opening speech, right? If she could have connected it somewhere and concluded at the end, I think that would have left the speaker on a high. So, for example, saying, wishing you all the best to deliver many more eye-opening speeches or something like that, just to leave the speaker on a high is what I would recommend.
Got it. Now, last two questions. Sorry, I mentioned one. Now let's have two with the panel one. So I would request you both to provide what's that one X factor stood out outstanding in the evaluators. You can just go with 2 to 3 words, not more than that. What's the one X factor that stood out with the evaluator, Divya, Malini ma'am, and Daryl?
Okay, I have already said Divya's confidence of speaking without referring to her notes. DTM CK Ballal's convincing demonstration of how the speaker should have modulated her voice. And as I've already said, Kallika's recommendations, which Daryl said, no, he was given commendation. Commendations of Kallika at the beginning and at the end for the speaker.
Got it. Daryl, from your end.
So for Divya, I think it was, I think Divya's opening and ending, right? She spoke about Benjamin Franklin's quote on time and how she ended with another quote on time. That's what stood out. That's the X factor. For Dr. Ballal, I think it was his recommendations that he gave to the speaker. And for Kallika, I think I would have to say again her recommendations. Those stood out for me.
Okay. And the last one, what's that X factor that could have been brought up evaluators to make their evaluation a different one or something which was great today
The
with all
evaluators.
with respect to all three of the evaluators? Yes, evaluators. What's that X factor they could have bought out?
I think we have already covered it and we might be repetitive in what we say because that was the
2 to 3 words,
that was
2 to 3 words,
recommendation
just to
that we
summarize.
gave. I mean, Daryl put it very well for Divya about the time factor. although the ending was impactful, I mean, what's the point if you overrun the time? So that is the thing. DTM, I have already said the opening. Just as we asked the speaker to have an impactful opening, I would request the evaluators also to have their opening done very well. And Kalika, as I said, maybe a little more caution when it comes to imitating the speaker in order to improve the speaker.
Okay. Daryl, how about you?
So I don't know if this is I'll give this probably as a challenge to all the evaluators, and that is to use the last 20 seconds effectively to leave your speaker on a high. I mean, constantly if you practice your evaluation and focus on using those last 20 seconds, I think your summary will stand out and that will help you in, contest. So let this be a challenge that probably all of us can, 3 evaluators for today, of course, and all of us can embark on attempting.
Thank you so much. Now I open the floor for questions for the evaluators, if any. Yes.
Srivatsa, before that, to the speaker, since we
Yeah.
got the chance only to say one thing, of course, because the evaluators had already done, but one point which was not mentioned by the evaluators, I would like to mention because she's a contestant.
Yeah, sure.
She had those questions, no, raise your hand. Like, I felt that she barred one part of the audience from answering, because if you say, do you have a mother? I mean, those of us who are mothers can't raise our hand, okay? Or those of us who have already. So if she makes it, do you have a mother or are you the mother who comes up with, then everybody is included in that. Likewise, she said, wife. If you make it spouse, nobody is barred from answering it. But if you say wife, only men can answer. So there, I think she can take a little more care in framing those questions. Yes,
Yeah,
please continue.
got it, ma'am. Yeah, sure. So now we open the floor for the evaluators to ask if they have any questions to the panelists.
Yeah, I have a question. Actually, a comment. Just like I dare say, even Sachin Tendulkar has good days and bad days. So there can be days when you're a little bit off color, and that happens. I've just come back from the film called Hail Mary. I hope you've all seen it. Okay, co-director is my classmate's son, Aditya Sood, and I was so engrossed in that film, it was still going through my mind when I was opening here. So I think it's been one of my bad days, and that's why I assure Malini that there's nothing else, and it's only that and nothing else, which kept me off color. And I would like even the panelists sometimes, please don't hesitate in pointing out, like what Malini did. Like to say that nothing excuses you from being on your top. Okay, one has to be like a cricketer, be in top form, or a tennis player, top form every day. There are no excuses, and I fully accept and thank you for pointing it out. Thank you for pointing it out. And likewise, it's very difficult to get a quotation at the time, like time and tide. It was there somewhere here. Time and tide doesn't wait, but if you're off color, it won't come. We all know that.
I think in evaluation as well as table topics, because some days we are very good, some days we aren't, and there is no explanation. Today you had an explanation. Very often I don't have an explanation as to why I failed as a TT speaker or as an evaluator.
Yeah, anyways, thanks for giving me the time. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Ballard.
Yes. You did fail. Your evaluation on the whole was very good. So only that beginning, I wondered why you seem to be a little subdued. That's it. But
thank you. I was concentrating also on, putting the thing up so that my body language shows up. There's something that I've done probably for the first or second time, so that the body language, if you're doing it sitting down, it won't come out. So today I went up and put it up and all that. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
I also wanted to say something. So as distinguished Toastmaster Daryl had pointed out, as to why I didn't give examples to my commendations, the only reason was that I thought I will run out of time, and I was about to run out of time, or else I think if I would have given lesser positives, I think I would have been able to give examples also to that. Because I feel like usually as an evaluator, it's better to focus your energy more on your recommendations, right? So that was my thought process. I think maybe next time I'll give lesser commendations and more recommendations.
And therefore, I would ask, why is it a negative point to bring something new? It can come to you suddenly. But it was 11:40 and then 11. I mean, you want to say that. You might not have said it earlier, but there's no harm in bringing it out later. I mean, at least you have said that. One point. Second point is, I want to know, as an evaluator, as what you do, because both of you are champion evaluators, is that when do you start summarizing? Because when the red comes, then you're panicky. So at the end of green or when the yellow comes, and there's some guidance we would like to have. I probably would have liked the panel moderator to ask you that question as to when we should bring out the summing up.
Daryl, anything to
You
say?
go ahead. You speak, ma'am.
No,
then
I
I'll
mean,
add.
I remember discussing this, and I remember different people saying that even before the green goes up, we should have already begun with the recommendations. That means for more than 1.30, we cannot really talk about commendations. We should have started with the recommendation there itself. So after the amber goes up, if you started before the green, after the amber goes up, probably in another 30 seconds, that is 2.30, you would probably finish with your recommendations and you start summing up. So that is, most of us make the mistake of starting with the summation after the red flag goes up. We realize, okay, the red flag has gone up and we have not yet summed up. And we started. And naturally, we hurried through. And when Srivatsa asked that question, put that question to Kalika, I just wanted to intervene and say she didn't want to be Divya because Divya overshot, right? The time. So Kalika had that fear of overshooting the time.
May I say something? Yeah, so
Before that,
yeah,
can
please
I?
go ahead. Yeah, sure.
Sorry, just to add to about the timing, right? So, this is what I try and do, and if it suits you, you can choose that. When you speak about commendations, we are telling the speaker something that they have already done. So I wouldn't spend that much of time as I dedicate for recommendations. And so I think in the first 1.5 minutes to 1 minute 40 seconds, I should finish my commendations and start with my recommendations. Because if I start my recommendations when the green card comes, then I'll panic for time, right? So before the green card comes, I should have already started my recommendation. And I think when the red card comes, I think it's good enough to summarize. But again, there's a catch here if you're able to summarize effectively. Yeah, because sometimes when that loss of words or thoughts are there when you've already in the recommendations. So what have you said for your commendations? You might take a lot more time to explain it. So if you're quick enough, then it helps. But if you're not, then I think that's something we can also develop as a skill to summarize effectively and quickly.
There
Okay.
is a separate
Thank
column.
we are sorry,
Yeah.
I need to cut down now. I think we can take it later. We are running out of time. So thank you so much everyone for making it today, and thank you so much Distinguished Toastmasters Malini Hebar and Daryl Rodrigues for being the panelists and providing the wonderful insights to all of us. Thank you so much. And the stage is I hand to the stage back to Toastmaster Radhika Adapa.
Thank you, DTM Srivatsa. I think Toastmaster Divya wanted to say something.
No, it's okay. I'll take it up in the WhatsApp. No problem. Thank you.
Thank you to our moderator, our panelists for those astute perspectives. As we come to the closing of this meeting, I invite you to reflect on something simple yet profound. Every speaker grows because someone cared enough to listen deeply. Every evaluator improves those because someone trusted them to give honest guidance. This is the spirit of this club. No competition, not perfection, but continuous growth through meaningful feedback. It has been an absolute pleasure to serve as the TMOD of this meeting. Do we have to take a photograph or something?
Yes.
Once
I'll
that's
do
done,
that, Radhika.
back
You
to
can close.
the president,
Yeah, you
the
can have.
Jyotika.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank you, Radhika. Let's give Radhika a huge round of applause for meticulous preparation. She was well prepared and she presented very well. Thank you very much, Radhika. Daryl, can we quickly click a picture or Vatsa, Srivatsa? Where is Srivatsa? Where, Srivatsa? Can we click a picture? Kiran, please switch on your video.
Three, two, one, go, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And yet another interesting meeting that we had today. So much to learn each and every time. I just love the camaraderie. I love the way Dr. Ballal came forward and spoke about how important it is for people to come and give feedback. I mean, that's the spirit of, I think, Toastmasters in CET especially. So congratulations to all for completing yet another meeting. Before we move ahead, Snigdha, you heard a lot. You felt a lot, and I'm sure you got a lot today. So, would you like to say how did you feel about the meeting, and how did you enjoy sitting through the meeting?
Actually, the more I know about Toastmasters, the more I realize that I know nothing. And in this meeting was really fantastic. In my 2 years of journey in Toastmasters, I have never seen such meeting. The way it got evaluated, the evaluators, the panelists. Probably I'll try to implement this in my club someday, that we can have this kind of meeting as well. Also, in my club, we usually do offline, and whenever we are speaking, giving a prepared speech, we always go and give it offline. So this online experience was a bit different, and this was also something we should take care in this technical world. So it was really an amazing meeting. Thank you for so many recommendations, commendations. Very, very, very nice. Very small things that was being said and that was noted down. It was really very nice experience. And of course, I have learned a lot. And as I said, I'll definitely implement one day in my club as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Snigdha. And I'd like to tell all of you that Snigdha has already participated in the division level, and she's won second place. I think that's why she was very relaxed, and she literally forgot her lines, her emotions, and everything. But that is very clear. But she did a real good job at the division level. And congratulations, Snigdha. And we hope to see you at the district level next year as you go ahead in this journey.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right. The winner for tonight, the evaluators, the best evaluators, we had two of them. We had one disqualification. So the two evaluators that went ahead for the voting, amongst them, the best evaluator for this evening is Distinguished Toastmaster C.K. Ballal. Hearty congratulations, Doctor. Hearty congratulations to you. All right. Now there's something interesting coming up, and we are all excited to attend that. Can someone tell me what it is?
Crescendo.
Absolutely.
And the fun night that goes with it.
Yes, fun night, absolutely. No doubt that fun night is the crescendo of the experience, but we also have a reason to celebrate. We have our own member representing the club at the district level, not in one, two categories. We have Distinguished Toastmaster Malini Hebbar, who will be representing us a division. Especially, we are proud that it's CET club that she'll be going forward with, but we don't call it CET there, right? It is Division F. So she'll be representing the HSC and the ISC, and we also have Daryl, who will be representing Let's Debate as a table topic contestant. A table topic, yes, and he manifested that. That's what he said. He just wanted that so badly, and he finally got it. All right, Daryl. So congratulations to both of you, and best wishes, our real best wishes. I hope you do your best and have the best experience on that stage, because I believe the journey to that stage is the experience, and it is what is going to make you a really evolved speaker. So we're really looking forward and we're rooting for you. We'll be there with all our might and spirit. Would you like to say something, ma'am?
No, I was about to say, though not all of us would be there, the most exciting thing that is coming up even before crescendo is the election, I was about to say, although we won't be there. So we
Yes.
wish you well for that.
Thank you. Thank you very much, ma'am. Another, how many? Less than 7 days to go. Next Sunday. Let's keep our fingers crossed. All right. So we have a lot of things to celebrate for. I think it's just been a very good experience, and I hope Daryl and Malini ma'am, you enjoy the process, and we are there for you there. All right. So we're going to make the noise more than Bright Arts and HSR. Okay. We'll make that sound there.
See that your throat gets better.
Yes, throat gets better. Yes, absolutely. All right. With that, I think it's now time to close this meeting and adjourn this meeting, and we'll meet next week. That is on the 8th. When do we meet? After 2 weeks. We'll meet on the 8th of June.
11th of
Yeah,
May.
so 11th of May. 11th of May. All right. All right. But before that, we have 8th, 9th, 10th, 3 days in Kochi. We come back, and 11th of May, we meet for yet another meeting. That's meeting number 19. Thank you very much. With that, it's with pleasure that I adjourn meeting number 18. Thank you very much and good night. Stay safe and have a good night.
Night.
Bye.